What's up, guys, and welcome back to another LS video, C10 video, all of the above. We are continuing on the C10. Last video, we got the engine all mounted up on the frame. Felt good to get to that point, but now that we have the engine on, it's time to start thinking about the transmission. So if you're new to the video, or if you forgot, this is a TR6060 Tremec transmission. Somewhere under here you can see the magic under there. Yeah, first of all, actually I'm going to be washing this. That's why it's on the pallet here. But we had our transmission cross member come in. Got this from Speedway Motors. There's tons that you can choose from, and I like the looks of this one, and I liked how it bolted up to the top and bottom of the frame just for that rigidity. And I feel like this is stronger than just the tube going across, because I kind of realized messing with this frame that it's pretty wavy. I can see why people box them in, because these are a very kind of loose frame. Obviously for a truck, it's not like it matters that much. For a race car or any car you want to drive fast that's going to handle well, you want that frame to be as tight as you can so you're not twisting and all that. But for this, obviously it's not a big deal. It's just going to be a truck. That's what I say, a truck. So yeah, you can bolt that in. I kind of have it measured where I think that it needs to be, close to. Unfortunately, I was all excited because I thought I was going to be able to get the transmission in today, but then realized I don't have a pilot bearing and I don't have a clutch alignment tool. So kind of went around town, tried to find a pilot bearing. Anyone can't get until tomorrow, so get that tomorrow. And then I'm honestly going to try and probably 3D print an alignment tool, because I don't want to buy one for just throwing this in real fast. So I'm going to look to see if someone has already designed one, and if not, I will probably just design my own real fast and print it tonight so that it is ready to go. So I guess first thing first is I want to get this transmission cleaned. So I guess we can start working our way downtown. Stay there. All right, transmission is clean, ready to go, blowing off. And I guess since I can't install the transmission today, since I don't have the pilot bearing, can't really do all that yet. I could probably do a little bit, but might as well wait till I'm actually installing it. So I guess for now I can install this shifter relocation. This makes it so that you can This makes it so that you can run it in the trucks, just because obviously if you had the shifter clear back here, you would be like way back. The shifter would be like way back here. So obviously that would be super awkward for the driver. So it just brings the shifter up to where this plate is. Pretty common thing. I got this one from Silver Sport Transmissions. It's kind of one of the cheaper ones I could find, but you can tell here that it is not cheaply made. Everything's billet and tight, so should be good. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how to take this off or what the procedure is. Obviously you need to pull these pins here, and honestly it looks like you just pull these pins, unbolt it, and it should come out, but we'll see. First I guess I gotta learn how to get these pins out. I assume you gotta flip those up somehow, but we'll see. All right, pins, pretty easy. As you can see here, there's a little tab there that goes in this hole here. So if you just slide a screwdriver behind and just pop that tab out, then this whole pin will slide up, and you can take them out just like that. Fairly simple design. So that is free. And I guess you guys are kind of seeing firsthand, because I have no idea. Probably gonna need a pry bar to pry that off. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right, that answers my question about a gasket. Looks like you just use RTV, but yeah, everything looks straightforward. This just sits right down in there. Can't really mess that up. Probably like that. Bolt her back on. That'll be an easy install. But looks like I need to get clean this up, RTV, and bolt her back down. All right, got the shifter relocation bolted on. Pretty straightforward. Just reuse the bolts, put some silicone along it, and there we have it. I was gonna throw this on, but this little bolt does not want to come out, so I guess we'll just leave her there for now. Yeah, she's ready to bolt on. Just need to wait for the pilot bearing so I can install that into there. Then we can install the clutch, flywheel, all that, mount this, and we should have a transmission on there. And then we can put the cab on her and start running wiring and all this other stuff that needs done before we can finish bodywork. And then before I finalized, because yeah, I've been working on all this new floor pan and all that, but before I bolt that up, I want to throw it on the truck, just because I want to have it mounted on there before I finalize anything on there, because I don't know if it's perfectly square sitting on that, so I don't want to tack weld all the floor together until I know it's sitting where it wants to sit, so that way it doesn't get kind of formed to the shape of where it's sitting. I'd rather have it formed to the shape of the frame, which I don't know if there's a difference or not, but it's something that I figured I might as well think about. So I'm gonna throw the cab onto the frame before I do much more body work, and then yeah, like I said, we can start running wires and stuff through the firewall to kind of see where we want to run things. So that's where we're at, but before that we need to get the transmission in, so guess I'll see you when I have the parts to do so, and we will do it. Well, 3D printer saves the day again. 3D printed a clutch alignment tool. Obviously, this clutch just came with the engine I got, so I didn't have a alignment tool, and instead of trying to figure out which one to buy and buying it, I just found one online that someone had already designed. Fits in there, and then it fits pilot bearing. Ooh. So yeah, gotta love having a 3D printer. But if you didn't know, this is actually can be a kind of a complicated bearing to find here. So this is a pilot bearing. If you don't know, it goes onto into the crankshaft, and that is what the input shaft of the transmission rides on right here. And that's just helps keep it aligned, and obviously needs to spin. So for these LS motors, there is actually 3 different pilot bearings that can go into this. The first one is called the small one, and it's pretty obvious. It goes into that deep section. So that one kind of looks like a needle roller bearing, and it looks like, okay, I need that one. And how you determine it is if you come to your transmission and look down the edge of it. As you can see here, this input shaft sticks out about 1/4 inch. So that there tells you that you need the larger bearing instead of the small one, because the small one has to go all the way deep into this crankshaft, whereas the medium ones just go, or the large one just goes straight into that. But funny story is there's actually 2 different sizes of these. There's a 1.64 inch outer diameter and a 1.7005. And so make sure that you measure this before you go and buy it, because I went and bought one, put it in, I'm like, oh, that's too small. Turns out I need the large one. So if you're looking for a pilot bearing, make sure to measure before you buy, or else you go through a rabbit hole of learning and wasting time. So the more you know. Now that I have a pilot bearing, I think I have everything I need to put this transmission on. So I guess first thing first is I need to pound this in. Probably just find a socket that is around the same size, somewhere where my deep sockets are. Probably just like that. And I will hammer in. All right, torquing down the flywheel bolts. I guess you're supposed to put some sealant on the bolts because I guess the threads go all the way to the inside of the engine. So make sure to put sealant on, and then the torque spec. I'm supposed to do in 3 stages, like 22 foot-pounds, 37 foot-pounds, and then 74 is the final. So I'm already done with the first stage. So now doing the second stage, and then this is my handy dandy flywheel stopper. Seems to be working. Seems to be working pretty good, so pretty proud of that one, because I didn't know how I was going to stop this from turning, but it's working. All right, clutch, pressure plate, all that is bolted on. Tighten these to 52 foot-pounds, and then this should slide out just like that. And I always like to put it back in, make sure it goes all the way that way, because if that can't go back in, your transmission sure ain't gonna go back in. So it's always good to check that, or else you don't want to be fighting it when the transmission's in the air dangling there and you're pushing in, getting pissed off because it won't work. If you would have just tested your shaft again, wouldn't go through that. So now we get to figure out how to lift this up, most likely using the engine hoist and some straps. See if we can't get this thing bolted on, because I'm excited to get her on. So let me do some brainstorming and see if we can't figure out how to lift this thing in the air. Yeah, look at that, not too bad. Couple ratchet straps. Should work. I got the chassis rolled forward so that we can hopefully slide on under. This should spin fairly easy, like so. So I guess let's see if we can push her on in. Well, good news is transmission is on. Attached to the engine. Great milestone done. Bad news is this does not line up. So these are the, I guess you would call the stock mounts, and you can barely see this one here, but as you can see, they are a lot wider than what is on here. So I either have to drill holes, which I'm not opposed to, just got to figure out where I want it, or I need to get a new transmission or new transmission mount, which not ideal, more money. I guess I don't know if I need to see where this needs to sit. Obviously I think it's a little high right now, but yeah, gonna have to do a little research there. But other than that, bolted on relatively easy. It's so nice mounting engines and transmissions when there's not a big old body and engine bay to work around. You can just move around wherever you want and have plethora of room. So I guess time to do some research on what to do there. And then I don't really want to bolt on the cross member and bolt down the engine mounts, because they can still slide. They have, I don't know, 2.5 inches of sliding. And I don't really want to do that until I know exactly where it's going to sit in conjunction with the firewall. So I don't want to know that until I put the cab on, which is probably what I'm going to be doing next. So I have a lot more planning and thinking to do. Yeah, figure out what I need to do for that transmission mount. And then, yeah, probably next video, probably be throwing that cab on. So I think I'm going to end this one here, just because not really much else I can do. So order more parts, continue working. I can always work on bodywork, but I didn't want to do more until I have the cab sitting on the frame, just because I didn't want to fully tack all this up until it was sitting on the frame, just because I don't know how square it is sitting on these blocks and all that. And I don't want to weld it all up and have it be kind of naturally tweaked because it wasn't on the frame where it naturally wants to sit. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but rather be safe than sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video. Next video, probably gonna throw the cab on and start working on the body again. So watch out for that one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll check you on the next one. Peace.